Welcome to the week one go-to session. Thanks for all who are in attendance. I was just explaining that people who either attend the lectures live or watch the recordings, which is perfectly fine, not everybody can be here live, do just fine in this class. In fact, the only people who truly struggle are the ones who do not hand in assignments. People miss assignments or they complete assignments and I just don't know what they are because they have no similarity to what's actually being asked to be done. Those are the people who struggle, okay? But people who essentially complete assignments to the best of their ability, following the instructions, and yes, watch these lectures, have no problems. In fact, all people pretty much pass with either an A or a B. Um, this class is not as frightening as you think, okay? Maybe I should begin with something more positive. Welcome to English Composition for May. I just posted a welcome comments. Take the time to read it if you can. I mentioned the current pandemic and how we are all adjusting and adapting as instructors. We are trying to be as flexible as humanly possible. Okay, so we're aware that things are a little bit crazy. I've also kind of encouraged people to treat this class seriously as a kind of, I don't know, stable environment in pretty unstable times. Okay, lots of universities have switched to distance learning because they can no longer meet in person. Full Sail has always been that way, so this is nothing new. But yeah, I'm very, very thankful to have a job during these times. Not all people do. So to the degree that we can use Full Sail as a place to find stability at a time of, where things are pretty up in the air, I encourage people to take advantage of it. And please let me know, okay, if things are going crazy. Obviously, let me know if you come down with COVID. You won't have to worry about failing the class. Again, we instructors are being super flexible. In fact, we've even changed the late penalty for the course. I know I'm kind of jumping all over the place, but just bear with me. So the late penalty used to be 5 points taken off the assignment for each day that it's late, up to 3 days, 72 hours, and then it would receive a 0. Now we just accept it, grade it, and you get a 5-point deduction from your professionalism grade, okay? 10%. Again, you should all be able to see my screen here. So professionalism right here, or 10% of your grade. So yeah, a 5-point loss because an assignment is late is not a big penalty at all, okay? And that includes if it's a day late, 2 weeks late. So just be aware of that, okay? So we're being super flexible. I do encourage people to try to get things in by the due dates and avoid those. 5 points isn't very much, but if it keeps happening, that could take a chunk out of your professionalism grade. I tend to ignore, if something comes in overnight, I don't freak out. It's kind of like things that are more than 24 hours late, that will result in the 5-point penalty, but get work in, okay? Don't feel like, oh, I missed the deadline, I'm screwed, so I'm just not going to hand it in at all. No, play catch up, okay? No matter how far behind you get, always hand in work. Okay, so I started to say welcome to English Composition. I look forward to working with all of you this month. I'm glad that we have a decent turnout for tonight's lecture. I do have to move kind of fast because Zoom has a 40-minute limit. So I can't filibuster forever. So let's get right to it, okay? So hopefully you signed up for McGraw-Hill. McGraw-Hill is a snap. There's an activity that provides a link and you just have to follow the sign-up steps, okay? Here, let me switch to this student view. And I think I have to share a different screen now. Where is it? Okay, I think you can still see it, right? You're all seeing my McGraw-Hill screen. You can see that it's organized by weeks. So you just click on a week and click on begin over here on the right. And you'll see the readings are pretty short. So it looks like there's a lot to read, but most of it is kind of like a paragraph or two of length. I'm okay with selective, or not selective, let me rephrase that. I'm okay with some skimming or reading for gist, okay? Doesn't mean you skim everything and you ignore 90% of the words. No, but it's most important you come away with the gist of what's being shared here in the readings, okay? But that's McGraw-Hill, so make sure you get signed up for that. Now, going back to the main FSO page, which I believe you can see. we're here in week one, okay? So most of you are going to focus on the two major activities for week one. This guy here, which is doing two parts. So you're supposed to make a first post by Wednesday night, that's tomorrow night, and to finish it off by Sunday night. And then there's a major assignment that's due on Sunday. Be careful, this is the only week in which you have one thing kind of, well, actually, no, there's one other week where you have one thing due on Wednesday, one thing due on Sunday. Actually, that's gonna be the pattern for every week. What I meant to say, this is the only discussion-based activity. It's going to be split up into two parts. Every week there will be something, a lighter assignment due on Wednesday, and the major assignment that's due on Sunday. Okay, but this is the only discussion-based activity. You've probably had discussion-based activities in, for example, create a presentation, so you know the idea of making an original post and then responding to a classmate by Sunday. Okay, so let's take a look at this first assignment, discussion of two bios, which I have open here. Let me just double check to make sure that we're focused on it. I believe we are. If at any time you're not seeing what I'm describing, please let me know in the chat, but you should be seeing the 1.3 discussion, tale two bios, okay? You can read through most of these instructions on your own, but the gist of it is you're going to write two paragraphs and post them to the discussion board, okay? And in both paragraphs, you're going to be covering the exact same content, but you're going to be doing it from different points of view. So for example, the first paragraph is a bio written in first person. Okay, so you're going to use the word I, me, myself. This is intended for people who are peers, friends, acquaintances, family members. Okay, so this is going to be, it can be a bit more relaxed, but we're not throwing out the rules of grammar or punctuation. It just means that point of view wise, it's going to be written in a kind of more natural first person voice. Then you're going to rewrite the bio, okay, for a different audience, a more professional audience. And this is going to be written in third person. And each paragraph should be labeled for peers, for professionals. And you're going to post both paragraphs to the discussion board. Now, every single activity for this class comes with completed examples. Okay, so I'll strongly encourage people to take a look at the examples. So for example, here we go, a tale two bios example. So let's take a look at this. I believe I have to change my sharing so you can see it. Okay, so here's her paragraph labeled for peers, and you'll notice it's in first person, okay? So it begins, hi everyone, my name is Carly. I'm currently majoring in sports marketing. I'm totally obsessed with all things Big Ten football. I believe I was a defensive lineman in a former life. I'm originally from Ohio, but I love the ocean, and so on, okay? So this is written in first person, addressed to peers. This is a little bit confusing. It should be labeled for professionals, not department chair, but okay, whatever. And this one, same information. Notice, Carly Hess is pursuing a Bachelor of Science degree in sports marketing. She is an avid follower of NCAA football. And as a result, she has developed a passion for sports of all kinds. Same information, but different point of view, okay? This one begins with, hi everyone, my name is, whereas here, third person. And this might be a little bit awkward for some of you, writing about yourself, okay, in this kind of language. Actually, let me see. I have an example of my own. I usually like to share. Let me find that real quickly. Where is it? There it is. Okay. Hold on, bear with me. I'm having trouble with finding my functions, my Zoom functions. What happened to my... Hold on, people. I don't know what happened to my menu, like my chat menu. Where is... Oh, this is so confusing. How about here? Okay, there's the chat function. Where's the share thing? How about you? There we go. Okay, I'm sorry for that. Again, I'm still getting used to Zoom. So, okay, you should see now one that says 4 peers, 4 professionals. Okay, this is one that I wrote. So hang in there. I know reading things out loud is not the most fun, but I'll read it quickly. But notice a complete different tone, but notice that it covers the same information. So this is about me, by the way. Although this should say 7 years. 7 years. So this one says, hello campers, my name is David. I'm a teacher. I've been here at Full Sail for nearly 7 years, and before this I bounced around a lot. I was born in Chicagoland, but I've also lived in, take a deep breath, Galesburg, Illinois, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Athens, Ohio, Palma de Mallorca, Spain, Columbia, Missouri, and now Orlando, Florida. My hobbies include competitive knitting, matzo ball juggling, and yelling at small children. Okay, that's a joke. I'm passionate about all things writing. I earned my bachelor's degree in English, fiction writing emphasis from Knox College, and a master's degree, again English, creative writing from Ohio University. I even started working toward a doctorate degree, but then my mother said, you're 35 and still in school? And so I entered the workplace. In my spare time, I play piano, marathon watch films and television shows, and read lots of books. Serious stuff like literary fiction, political stuff, but my guilty pleasure is page turners, you know, the Twilight series, occasional sci-fi or fantasy novels, stuff like that. Oh, and I watch lots of sports. I'm a lifelong Chicago Cubs fan, and though I used to follow the NFL, I now know nothing about that league because I only watch college football. So you can tell, okay, first person, I'm using a more voice-driven approach. Hello, campers, right? Pretty down-to-earth language, like I bounced around a lot. I also go into more detail. I make a joke at one point, even exclamations like, oh, okay. But notice, same information, but here it's addressed to professionals and it's written in third person. So this one says, David Sussman has been teaching college level courses for nearly 20 years. He holds degrees in creative writing from Knox College and Ohio University. Previous to coming to Full Sail, David has taught at institutions in Alabama, Illinois, and Missouri. Currently, David teaches English at Full Sail University in Orlando, Florida. He is a committed educator who is passionate about writing. In his free time, David enjoys playing piano, viewing films, reading books, and watching his 2 favorite sports, Major League Baseball and college football. Same information, okay? Exact same information. But here, I don't get into like, what are the specific books that I read or which teams do I follow? Yeah, maybe an audience of peers would like some of that information. But here, it's just nuts and bolts, okay? This is for professionals. What do professionals need to know? They need to know the facts in kind of general, yeah, pretty professional terms. Sure, I think I maybe go a little bit too much here. Like I could eliminate the joke. This is about twice the length. You don't have to have a paragraph that this is this long followed by one that's much shorter. In fact, the example that you have in the activity, the one we started to look at, written by someone named Carly, is a better example of 2 paragraphs that are more or less the same length, okay? But anyway, you've looked at this example live here in the lecture. You have the other example, which is available to you in the activity. Does everyone here get the gist of what you need to do for the 2 paragraphs? Let's see. Ooh, I've got people make comments in the chat. Okay, yes, people are saying yes. Okay, awesome. And then you're just going to post it to the board. Out of curiosity, let's look to see if anybody has done that. Okay, so you should see my screen now. I think I have to go in this way. Week 1, discussion 2 bios, go to discussion. Okay. And I don't know how to pronounce this name, but Mr. Charles has already posted. Okay, just as a quick glance, this looks good, right? This one's written in the first person. My name is, but you can also call me Chris. I'm currently 24, living in Brooklyn, whereas this one is written in third person, okay? So he is 24. Okay, so this looks good. So after you post your 2 paragraphs to the board, you just have to make sure that by Sunday you respond to at least one of your classmates' work. It should be a response of at least 100 words. So Mercedes post here, I can already tell that's around 100 words. Please take note of the actual contents. If you can spot anything that could be improved, please mention it. For example, if you notice that the paragraph that's supposed to be written for professionals is written also in first person, I see that from time to time. Both paragraphs are written in first person or both paragraphs are written in third person. please alert the person, because as long as they go back and fix it by Sunday, like that's fine. So yeah, don't just rubber stamp what they said. Also, do not just write a single short sentence like, hey, awesome job, or nice to meet you. I mean, respond in a kind of way that's thoughtful, that engages. I know, not everybody on the discussion boards checks back to see what people have written. It'd be nice if everybody did and got into an extended conversation, but that doesn't always happen. But at least try to engage with the post in kind of a meaningful way. Again, it looks like Mercedes is mostly doing that. Okay, so yeah, so you have some examples on the board. I'm always happy to see when the first person posts and it is following the instructions. Because what happens is if someone does it wrong, incorrectly, then everybody else just imitates the incorrect thing because they don't read the instructions, so they don't watch the lecture. Okay, so by the way, everybody can see the screen here, right? With the discussion board feature. I say this because my controls sometimes disappear for reasons I do not know. For example, what did I do to, oh, there we go. Oh, I remember what it was. It was show controls, view, floating controls. There we go. Okay, awesome. Okay, so what do I want to share next? I'm telling you, the go-to is so much simpler in terms of you seeing what I see. Okay, so we've covered this one. Let's move on to the next major activity. And I do have to kind of move because again, I only have 40 minutes recording time. So this one is the first major writing assignment that's due on Sunday. Okay, so all of you should be seeing something that says 1.4 pop culture bites. This is okay. Good. I have it highlighted. You choose an article. Okay, so we got a bunch of articles. Here's one on Jay-Z. Are video games addictive? One on Netflix and the streaming wars. Harry Potter, and a final one on music streaming. Okay, so you're going to choose one of these articles and you're going to summarize it. Okay. Again, you can read through the instructions on your own, but you're going to read the article carefully and you're going to write a 300 to 400 word summary that identifies the following. You also get some tips for writing summaries. Okay, actually, I have some documents that I've prepared, a list of do's and don'ts. So let me open that. Don't save. Where is it? There it is. Okay, now I have to switch to sharing it. There we go. Okay, so either you can jot down notes when the recording of this lecture is up and running. You can just go to this part of the video and freeze the screen. You can take a screen capture now if you want. But these are like do's and don'ts. Okay, these are mostly repeating the instructions, but I've added a few more. So what you should do, by the way, a summary is a concise overview of the article. Okay, it is your job to explain what the article is about in a way that a perfect stranger would understand. So if you choose the Jay-Z article, imagine that you have to explain that article's content to someone who has never read it before. Okay, I think most people, when they hear the word summary, they understand that. But here are some tips, okay, some do's and don'ts. Do include the author's name as well as the author's overall argument or thesis. Okay, argument, thesis, main overall points. Okay, include the article's most important points or examples. Okay, and I'll explain why that's important when we get to the don'ts. Do provide an accurate, concise overview of the article and that a perfect stranger should be able to understand. Write in third person, so no I. And write in present tense. Okay, the author's main argument is, not was, the article exists now, even if it was written 5 years ago. It's just a convention of writing. Even if you're writing about Shakespeare's Hamlet from 400 years ago, still you would say when Hamlet meets his father's ghost, not when Hamlet met. We treat pieces of writing as if they exist now. Okay, so we use present tense verbs. And this is pretty important because I had 4 instances last month where I had to ask students to rewrite their summary because it was borrowing too much language from the article itself. But yeah, write the summary in your own words. Okay, no borrowing wording from the text. Don'ts. Okay, do not write an exhaustive paraphrase of every sentence. I like to call this the walkthrough structure. Okay, so in other words, it's not your goal to start at the first paragraph of the article and make your way down paragraph by paragraph, trying to explain, if not every line, then a lot of them. Again, a summary is a concise overview of what is the article about, what is its main overall arguments, and then what are its most important points. Okay, not every single point. What are its most important points? Get you up on the. Josh says, "Are we persuading, expressing a belief?" No, no, that will come later. The first 2 weeks here will seem a little bit samey because you're going to summarize one article in week 1. You're going to summarize another article on the exact same topic, though from a different perspective, in week 2. And it's not until week 3 that you'll begin to respond. And the reason for this, or at least the reason I'm going to try to convince you of, is that people are pretty awesome at just giving their opinions on things. Today, in fact, maybe people are too good at it, but not always reading the article itself. Like, for example, if you go online, there are comment sections underneath articles. And yeah, people are really quick to make their knee-jerk opinions or express themselves, sometimes in all caps, shouting. But sometimes you get this sneaking suspicion that they didn't even read the article or they didn't watch the video, right? So we want to make sure that people are carefully reading the articles fully and showing that they understand what the articles are about before they respond, okay? But yeah, in week 3, you'll get around to responding. And I'll ask you to be patient. I don't know. I think it's a good idea to get people to slow down. Read something first, show that they understand it, think about it, and then respond. Maybe it would be nice if more people did that. We don't have a political goal. It's not like that we're trying to teach people, but I don't know. Maybe it's a secondary goal to make people more thoughtful. So yeah, don't write a walkthrough, okay? Likewise, don't just cherry pick one interesting point and ignore the rest. And here, do not include your own opinions on the issue. Okay, so this is complete distance and overview. Do not quote from the article. Okay, again, that will come later. Quotations. And here's a basic structure you can follow. Okay, so again, if you have to take notes or take a screenshot or remember to come back to this part of the video, each Roman numeral here represents a separate paragraph. So you should have a short introduction, and I mean short, like 3 or 4 sentences, where you name the author and the title of the article. Explain in just a sentence or two what the article is about. For example, Mark Lewis's article is about video game addiction. And then end it with a sentence that captures what the author's overall point is. Okay, so for Mark Lewis, it said, video game addiction is overstated. It should not be classified as a disorder. And then you just devote separate paragraphs to different points from the article. So if you've identified 3 major points from the article, yeah, think about giving each one its own separate paragraph. And then if you want, a short conclusion if possible. Now, like I said, every single activity comes with completed examples. You can't see the entire form, so you can't see the part that says structure. Like introduction, Roman numeral 2, key point, example. I don't know what I should do here to, I don't know, if that makes things better. Let me make sure I have the right screen shared. I think I do, yeah. So there was a list of do and don'ts in case people couldn't see that. Hopefully everybody can see that, the full list of do's, full list of don'ts. And then here's a basic structure that you can follow. But yes, it should be a multi-paragraph summary. It should not be one ginormous 300-word paragraph. And as I said, every single activity comes with examples. So if we look at the example, I have to shift gears here to, bear with me. Okay, now you should see my internet screen. Okay, so you can see that here, example, PDF. So if we open this, why is it doing? Screw it. There we go. So here's the example, okay? Now notice this person is summarizing a completely different article. It's not one that's in your list of possible articles. That's because we don't want people to imitate. As you can see, she, Jane Smith, is following the structure. So the first paragraph is simply, hold on, there's stuff blocking my view. You can't see it, but I can. Okay, there we go. So as you can see, the opening paragraph follows the advice I just gave in the structure, okay? The first sentence that mentions the author in the article. Noel Murray's article is a response to recent conversations surrounding the Big Bang Theory. Then there's a paragraph, or excuse me, a single sentence that describes what the article is generally about. The final sentence captures the author's argument. His argument is that the show, despite its faults, generally transcends the stereotypes upon which it was built, and it normalizes nerd culture and gender. Okay, so yeah, a short introduction, author, name of the article, what the article is generally about, and what the author's main argument is. And then separate paragraphs are devoted to the most important points. So if you're confused on how to write this, you have an example. Now, the final thing I have to show you is APA format. And a stopwatch just appeared showing me that I have 9 minutes, 42 seconds. So we're off to the races. You have to have this paper in APA format. I have to make sure that every student can follow APA format because it is a style system used in all Full Sail classes. Okay, so it doesn't disappear when English class is over. APA means layout, so how to make your paper look like this, paragraphing, spacing, indenting, and also just for this assignment, how to create a reference. Okay, so I'm going to show in real time how to do this. So I'm going to open up a blank Microsoft Word document, and I encourage you to do the same if you wish to follow along. Okay, I'm also going to, at random, choose an article. Okay, so I'll, where is it? Here, I'll do the video game article. Okay, so let's get that one open. And let's see, which screen are you seeing right now? You should be seeing the Mark Lewis, The Guardian screen. Okay, so I'll show in real time how to create a reference for this. But before I do that, I'm going to show you how to set up your paper in APA format. Okay, so what I have here, what I'm going to switch to sharing is the blank Microsoft Word document. Okay, you should all be seeing that right now. So we begin with putting the blank document in Times New Roman. The entire document needs to be in 12-point Times New Roman. So let's do that from the get-go. Times New Roman. It's already in 12 points, that's good. The entire document should also be double spaced. So I'm going to change the spacing here from 1.0 to 2.0. And at the top of page 1, you'll just put your name. Okay. So let's have Steve Smith. The name of the class. So this class is, actually I have to cheat and look at the example. What does Jane Smith do? English composition. Okay. Here, let me close some stuff. No, I don't want to save. Okay, so English composition and the name of the assignment. This is 1.4 pop culture bytes. Now we are going to center a title, and your title can simply be summary of, if you're going to use the article title, are video games really addictive? Here, you would put the article title in quotation marks. You would capitalize every major word. This rule is going to be completely different on the references page though, okay? But if the title appears anywhere else in the document other than the references page, put in quotation marks and follow the common wisdom of capitalizing major words. The word of appeared, you wouldn't capitalize it, okay? Then we hit enter and we can start typing away. We begin on the left, so we no longer have to be centered anymore. The first line of a new paragraph needs to be indented 1 tab. So I'm going to hit my tab key. And you can start typing. Now, I'm going to fill up a whole bunch of space. By the way, when you reach the end of a sentence, you type a period, hit your space bar twice. 1, 2, keep typing. Period, space, space, keep going. Okay. Now, I want to fill up a whole bunch of space, so I'm going to copy all this. And if you already have it set up to double spacing, it will automatically wrap around. When people have a truly single space, but try to make it look double spaced, that's when problems can occur. Okay. So I'm going to fill up a bunch of space, and I'm going to copy all this because I'm going to pretend like we have the entire document written. Okay. Let me see. Chat. What's going on there? Josh says, if my tab button is still stuck, will 3 spaces simply work? No, because 3 spaces isn't working. If you have a stuck tab button, what you should do is grab your ruler, like the bottom hourglass, and drag it. Oops, that didn't work. How about the top half of the hourglass? Yeah, grab the top half of the hourglass like that, okay? Half an inch. But yeah, if your tab button isn't sticking, you just hit tab. By the way, I have that same problem. The J on my keyboard will not work, so I can't type the letter J. I've had so many problems with this MacBook. I'm actually a good typist. It's just the keyboard's too shallow. Like I can't get a grip on it. So I make constant mistakes. It's frustrating. Anyway, I'm going to fill up a bunch of space. Let's imagine that your summary ends here. Okay. By the way, this is all you have to do in terms of layout. Can you double space paragraphs? Can you make sure the entire document is in 12-point Times New Roman? Can you indent the first line of new paragraphs? That's it. Like the layout issue is so simple. But when you get to the end, you have to create a reference. So we are going to center the word references. No bolding, no colon, no underlining, no italic, just a simple word references. That's the beauty of APA. It's just elegantly simple. Everything in Times New Roman, no embellishments, no bolding, no italicizing. We hit enter once, just once. And again, on the left side of the page, we can start building our reference. Okay, so I have an example. And I have to move fast because I have like 3.5 minutes left. Where's my desktop? Okay, so here we go, the Mark Lewis article. So anybody who chooses the Mark Lewis article, I'm kind of doing this for you. But we have everything we need. Okay, so we have an author's name, Mark Lewis. We have a date, June 20th. I can't type J, so we'll June 20th, 2018. So let me show you how easy this is. Last name, Lewis. Actually, it should be fully to the left. Lewis, comma, space, first initial, M for Mark, period. After each section of information, so author, date, article title, periods. The date was 2018. We begin with the year, comma, full month. Oh, I can't. Do I have a J anywhere? I can steal. No. You know what? Let's lie. Let's say it's May or April. Okay. You don't abbreviate like this. Okay. Full name, April. The month is December. Put December, fully spelled out. So no abbreviations. Okay. So May 20th. It's really June 20th, but I can't type with a J. Period. Then the article title. Here, though, we don't put the article in quotation marks, and we capitalize it as you would a regular sentence. This is what makes APA goofy and confusing. Are video games really addictive? See, I'm not capitalizing every important word, and I'm not using quotation marks. Okay, just then finally we put the URL. Okay, so I'm going to grab it real quickly from the website. Drop it in. I hate, are you still seeing my Microsoft Word document? No, it switched. Okay. I hate seeing the hyperlink, so remove hyperlink. I just right-clicked on the thing. Also change the single spacing. We need to fix that, so double spacing. Less than a minute. I got to speed up. Okay, so it's double spaced. The last thing we have to do is do the exact opposite. Here, indent first line, do not indent other lines. Here's the opposite. We do not indent the first line, but we indent any lines that come after. So I'm just going to take this, drag it 1/2 inch, bingo. And you have an example, okay? So the sample document, I'm gonna be cut off any second now, okay? So when the session ends, I apologize, but we're running out of time. But you have this example to look at that also shows proper APA format. Okay, so you can either follow my thing or just imitate the example here. Okay, so I apologize, folks. Any second, the session is going to end. I thank you so much for attending. I'll see you next week at the same time. Adios, everyone. I gotta move faster. Yeah, bye. I promise to try to move things along faster next time. I only have 40 minutes to work with, but we covered everything, okay? So if you have questions, message them to me through FSO, and I will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Adios, everyone.